Hello and welcome to another episode of John's Non Sequitur. I've been having a real tough time trying to figure out what it is that I want to do next. I have a lot of ideas. One of the things I'd like to do is an episode on college football because it pisses me off, and not just because I'm a fan of some team. I'm actually not. The entirety of college football pisses me off. But no, not yet. I wanted to do a thing on Santa and how I think that we're perpetuating something that at some point somebody should just say, hey, wait a minute, maybe not. And also, Christmas in general. I'm not saying get rid of the holiday. I'm not a Scrooge or anything, but some of the stuff that we do is just kind of weird. And if you stop and think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But we just do it because that's what we do. But that, again, no, not yet. It's coming. And then, of course, there was this one. I wanted to talk about the liberal media because we already did the conservative media. So now we're doing the liberal media. And their inability to present information that is unbiased. But I stumbled across something else while doing this, and that was on my Facebook. Two major things have been going on. One has been the pipeline, I think in North Dakota. It's over, like, you guys already know. I don't even know that much about it. All I've seen is that it's over some Native American land that it's not supposed to go over, or was supposed to go over. This is what I'm going to be arriving at here in a second. And then the other thing is Donald Trump apparently made a phone call to Taiwan that pissed off China, or Taiwan called him, or something. And this is bad, and he's causing problems, or he isn't. In fact, he's being awesome. See, I'm confused. I'm very, very confused. And the reason I'm very confused on both of these issues is because a majority of my time is not spent on news sites, and the majority of my time is not spent perusing the internet for whatever. I have a life, I have a kid, I have a wife, I have things I have to do, I have a job, and then I have these videos, which I try to put as much time into as much free time into as I possibly can, and I have my podcast. So I have a lot. And it's hard to keep up with events, I try. And from what I understand, putting a pipeline down, in my opinion, now there's probably facts that go both ways on this, but in my opinion, putting a pipeline down is just perpetuating a problem in which we need to get away from fossil fuels and figure out an alternative source of energy instead of having these protests and having all of this craziness. But that's for a different episode. Everything that I've seen on my feed on Facebook, almost everything, has been negative towards this pipeline. It's been pro-protesters and negative towards the pipeline. But I'm the kind of person that doesn't block alternative views because I want to know what they are. And there's been one or two views that are not only like alternative, but polar opposite. Like, there's views that say that the people who are protesting this are just being babies and they need to get over it. And both sides of these arguments, when you go into the comments on these, are so strongly supporting their side. And the other thing that amazes me is both sides are able to show their work. They're able to show examples of published stories and insight that say their side's right. So both sides are right? Or are both sides wrong? Or is there a right or wrong? I don't know. This Donald Trump thing, as far as I know, this is terrible as far as security for the nation goes. That's most of what I've seen. It's bad national security on his part. And, of course, he goes on Twitter and goes crazy because that's what presidents do. Now, I don't like Donald Trump, okay? So and I also really like Obama, okay? But it is a little weird that when Obama goes online and does a bunch of stuff, people are like, oh, he's using the internet, that's great, way to reach out to the people. And when Trump gets on there and uses Twitter, it's like, you have a job to do, stop getting on Twitter. You can't have it both ways, guys. Pick one. It's either it's awesome he's getting on there or it's not. It's up to you. But this morning I woke up and somebody posted something about how awesome it is that Trump was talking to Taiwan and how excited he is, and he posted a link to a news story that said this, that was like giving detailed reasons as to why this should be a good thing. So is it a good thing or a bad thing? Or does it just depend on which side you're on? Are you capable of thinking one thing, seeing a different side of it, putting the two sides together, and coming up with a possibly different conclusion than what you started with? I don't think so. I don't think many of us are. There's one particular person, everybody has a bunch, okay? There's one particular person on my Facebook who I can't read them. Like, I think they're anti-everything. I think they're anti, for instance, let's just pick a random one, feminism. I think they're anti-feminism and anti-non-feminism. Like, they just want everybody to not do anything. And I don't know if the purpose is to state their opinion or to make everybody think that they're smarter than everyone. I'm very confused. It's very, very confusing to me. And it makes it damn near impossible to find reliable sources. Because whenever I go out and say, hey, I need a reliable source, someone comes to me with a source that they go to. Okay. But are they the kind of person that would go to several sources and pick one out that seems to not be opinionated, seems to be strictly factual? Because in the world we're living in now, facts are even questionable. Nothing seems concrete. It seems like everything is abstract, and it makes it very difficult to decide what it is you think. I don't even know what I think on issues anymore, so I just stay away from them. I know what, like, morally, my morals I think is right, but my morals aren't even necessarily correct. Like, everyone's morals differ. And I think some people also, too, when they find out that someone else's morals differ, they say, you don't have any morals. Or they do, but they're different than yours. And so that's no way to really decide whether or not something is right or wrong either. So, sometimes I think that it really is as simple as just let people be. Just let them go, man. That's hippie talk right there. Just let them go, man. But that's actually correct, I think. Obviously, you're going to come at me with a bunch of things like, oh, you're going to let pedophiles go. Oh, you're going to let murderers go and rapists go. Come on. You want to know where the line is drawn? The line is drawn when you're not letting someone else go. And by being a pedophile, a rapist, or a murderer, you are crossing the line and you are not letting someone else be. You're doing things strictly for your own self. That's a line you can't cross. Outside of that, let's for a second here pretend, or in maybe some of your cases believe, that the Bible and Christianity and all of that stuff is true, okay? Now, according to the Bible, if you do not believe in all the stuff that it says, you go to hell. Okay, fine. Do you go to hell if somebody else doesn't? No, you don't. You practice what you're supposed to practice, they go to hell. So why on earth would you go out of your way to just tear somebody apart for doing something that's against your religion? They're not doing it to you. They're doing it to themselves. They knew the risks. And they chose to do it anyway. So why do you need to get involved? I'm exhausted from all that. That was a long rant. I guess the point I'm getting at here is you probably don't know everything. The things you are really sure of are probably wrong. And that goes for me too. I don't know anything. I think I know a lot, but what I actually know is so very little. Like, I'll talk and it sounds smart to some people, but I'm not that smart. I'm just not. So, and neither are you. Honestly, you're not. See you tomorrow.